America has been violating all of these laws of money for all these years, and the world says we've had enough of this. Let me say it again. This is Gresham's law. Bad money, this toilet paper, chases out good money, real money, gold and silver and things like that. So what's happening now is the BRICS are saying no more of this garbage, that this thing goes to trash. This becomes toilet paper, this little dollar here, because there's so much of it out there. And when 70% of the world's population says we're not going to use this anymore, aloha, what does that mean to the world? Emergency podcast number 3 is be careful for those who are not paying attention. In other words, we're about to go into what's called the Wile E. Coyote moment. Everybody's running along and says, oh, don't worry, the Fed's got my back, the economy's fine. I love this guy Biden, and America's the greatest, the economy's safe. And when people crash, when this thing crashes, and it's coming soon, it's the people that are not prepared, the people who are not watching this emergency podcast number 3 are the ones you're going to have to be afraid of. Be very, very afraid of those who are sound asleep at this moment, because when they wake up, they're going to wonder what happened.
Welcome back to our channel. Today, we have a crucial topic that could impact your financial future. We're talking about the de-dollarization of the world economy and how the BRICS nations are turning their backs on the US dollar. This information comes from none other than financial expert Robert Kiyosaki.
America has been violating all of these laws of money for all these years, and the world says we've had enough of this. So they're joining the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And what Andy's pointing out, that means 70% of the world's population that used to use the dollar are going to take this and say, we don't want it anymore. And so there's going to be quadrillions of dollars coming back. And the ramifications of that are possibly, and I hope it doesn't happen, but it's called hyperinflation, that this thing goes to trash. This becomes toilet paper, this little dollar here, because there's so much of it out there. And when 70% of the world's population says, we're not going to use this anymore, aloha, what does that mean to the world?
For the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks.
Let me say it again. This is Gresham's law.
As 70% of the world's population turns their back on the US dollar, we may see an unprecedented shift in the global economy. One potential outcome is hyperinflation, which would make the US dollar practically worthless. This could lead to a tidal wave of dollars returning to the US, creating even more economic turmoil.
Bad money, this toilet paper, chases out good money, real money, gold and silver and things like that. So what's happening now is the BRICS are saying no more of this garbage, because you've been printing this stuff. That's called counterfeiting. That'd be like me going to your restaurant and giving you fake money.
De-dollarization is the process of countries moving away from using the US dollar as their reserve currency. The BRICS nations have had enough and are saying no more to the US dollar. Why? According to Robert Kiyosaki, it's because the US has been violating the laws of money for years, using bad money essentially, printing excessive amounts of dollars, which has led to the devaluation of the currency.
And you're giving me real food, real service, you have labor cost, taxes, and all this stuff, but I keep giving you fake money. And that's what the United States has been doing for years now, especially since 64 and 71, when they took silver, replaced our coins, and gold replaced this fake dollar. That's what Andy is talking about, and the world is going to say, we're going to put the world on a real money, a real commodity, oil, food, things like this, schedule. So this thing is trash. In 1971, Nixon took this off the gold standard. They had to back it up with something. So 74, Nixon and his protege Kissinger, they went to Saudi Arabia, says, if you make this the petrodollar, so they went from a gold dollar to a petrodollar. And so they gave the dollar immense power throughout the world because everybody had to take this stuff here. And so what happened when China enters the scene and all this stuff is going on, what Andy's talking about, this is going to come back on us now. Triffin's dilemma meant that for the U.S. to be the world's money, a reserve currency in 1944, they had to print extra of this. So the whole world had this in their banks all over the world. They have more of this stuff than any other product in history. This is toilet paper. And what that guy was saying from Kenya is when this stuff starts coming back in, it's just not how much they printed, it's how much they've had in storage, because they had to be able to buy oil in this stuff here. So what's going to come back is a tidal wave of this toilet paper upon America. And this little $35 coin here, I don't like to make predictions, but I'd rather have this than this here. And it's really tough to get people to say, no, I'd rather have toilet paper. It makes no sense to me. There's one more thing I want to say that you talked about is, we had Credit Suisse go down, and that's a bond failure. But Deutsche Bank is a derivatives failure. Now people, what's the difference between a bond and a derivative? So what happened is since 2008, they've been dropping interest rates. And then when they raised interest rates, the bonds started to explode because you have a bond that's paying 2% and now a bond is paying 8%. The 2% bond collapses, the bank collapses, and that's where the runs of the bank come from. But Deutsche Bank is derivative failure. And derivatives are what Warren Buffett calls weapons of mass financial destruction. And the derivatives market is 1 quadrillion. So we're not speaking about trillions anymore. We're speaking about quadrillions. And a quadrillion is 1,000 trillion. So when these things start to explode, and they don't want them anymore because the BRICS was going to take this down, you're going to wish you had some more of these $35 silvers, because this is still real money. This is real money. This here is 1964, a Kennedy $50. It's still pure silver. It's worth $10 today. Do you know what I mean? This is $10, but it was 50 cents back in 64. So all of this is coming to a head right now. Blockchain, but I just don't trust this. I don't trust the US dollar. I don't trust the Fed. I don't trust the Treasury. And I don't trust our government. And I don't trust Wall Street. If you do, invest your. But what they're doing is they're creating what I call a fake asset. Yeah. So let's say I go to you and say, Sarah, I'm starting this company. And I've been there. They hyped the company. This is. Yeah. And so really the issue is trust today. This thing here is in God we trust. There's no counterparty risk to it. But there's a lot of counterparty risk to this, and there's a lot of counterparty risk to BlackRock, to the stock market and all this. So that's why, I have John McGregor here, because that's what he does. He evaluates how stable is that business they're floating. Like Tesla is now $1 trillion company. Is it worth $1 trillion? I really don't know. But at the last EV conference, Tesla wasn't invited. Ford and GM were. Yeah. Now, if you don't smell a rat with that, when I looked up how much is $1 trillion, if you spent $1 a minute, it would take you 32,000 years to spend $1 trillion. 32,000 years. It takes them 1 minute to print $1 trillion. So they're coming up with this infrastructure problem and all this. And this is what we study at Rich Dad. It used to be, if you printed, let's say $1 million, the GDP rose by $1,010,000. Today, you print $1 million, the GDP only comes up by 7. In other words, we're going further and further in debt. We cannot pay off the debt. And so what they're doing, they print more money, hoping to pay off that debt. It just makes the debt bigger, and this piece of toilet paper worth less.
With all these changes, it's essential to be financially prepared. This means staying informed, evaluating the stability of your investments, and considering alternatives like gold and silver. As Kiyosaki says, be very, very afraid of those who are sound asleep at this moment, because when they wake up, they are going to wonder what happened.